everyone, it's Melody and welcome to Author Nation. Today we're diving into using AI to support your book marketing efforts. And as usual, we're here to guide you with actionable insights and strategies that will help bring success to your author career. Because of course, we're committed to providing you with the tools, inspiration, and community you need to succeed. Go visit authornation.online to access a treasure trove of resources just for you. So whether you're sipping your morning coffee or settling down after a long day, settle in as we explore using AI to support your book marketing efforts. But before we dive in, let me introduce our guest. Len Ward is the managing partner of Comexis, specializing in AI consulting and digital transformation. With over 20 years in the industries, he's worked across Wall Street, built his own e-commerce business, fueling his passion for digital marketing. After founding an SEO firm that grew into a full service agency, Len turned his focus to AI, helping businesses use technologies like chatbots and custom GPT to enhance marketing and customer interactions. He's passionate about discussing AI's role in the shaping the future of marketing, and that is what he is here to do with us today. Welcome, Len. How are you?
Great. Thanks for having me, Melody. How are you?
Absolutely. I'm thrilled to have you here. Now, you run a full-service digital marketing agency. For our audience, what does full complement of digital marketing strategies involve?
So that involves everything you would think about for marketing, anything from search engine optimization, website design, website hosting, video, digital marketing across Google, Facebook, TikTok, and so forth. So you would come to us if you're a business, you would come to us if you're an author, and we would be able to market your entire product all the way across all platforms, build a website, do a video, editing podcasts, and so forth like that. So we're a full service where you feel kind of safe, like, okay, I got my one company that's going to handle all of that, and I can go focus on what I have to focus on. That's what we do.
Brilliant. Thank you. So before we get into the nitty gritty, I want to just talk about one of authors' main concerns. They think, of marketing a book as personal. Readers want to connect with the author. How can authors ensure their marketing feels personal and genuine while leveraging AI tools?
They're going to, I think one of the quickest way, maybe a little bit away from AI tools, would be to act almost like an influencer marketing person, like how you would follow on Instagram, on TikTok, Facebook to a point, YouTube Shorts. You want to start to build your audience and connect with your audience that way, where whether it's tips of the day, whether you're doing quick snippets of your expertise and putting that out there, building that community, building that audience. Once you've built that audience and you're talking and you're trying to sell your book, they relate to you that way. This is how people are digesting content. That would be the fastest way I would tell them to kind of personalize their marketing right now. Those platforms matters and they should be looking at that.
Thank you. All right. So the next question is, authors often feel overwhelmed. So how can AI simplify and enhance their book marketing?
I think one of the quickest ways to do it would be basically to engage with like a ChatGPT. If you haven't worked with that before, I would work with ChatGPT. You could use Claude. You could use Facebook Meta has something called Llama. And you even have Gemini by Google, which is actually a really good model as well. We like ChatGPT. I think ChatGPT would be a great way to start saying, identify who would resonate with my book, who would resonate with things that I'm thinking about, writing about, or I want to talk about, and have ChatGPT interact with you and say, typically, these are people that may be interested in what you're looking for. These are ways in which you could potentially market. So it's almost like start using ChatGPT as a really high-end consultant. It's going to be, it will be, to use your term, a little overwhelming to start out of the gate. But as you have more of a dialogue with it, as you begin to understand ChatGPT a little bit more, you'll realize the information it's coming back with is probably one of the best consultants you could ever hire. Because remember, that's crawling every single thing in the history that's ever been put out in the web, and it's trying to digest it and give you what they think is the right answer. So it's vastly superior than just searching for something on Google looking for an answer.
Yeah, thank you. And let's talk about inputting things into AI before getting out what you want. Something I've learned, and maybe you can comment on this, is sometimes I go to AI and I say, okay, you are this. You are a marketing consultant that specializes in authors or whatever it is. I want to sell my book I don't even know where to start. Ask me questions. Do you suggest people kind of let AI, if you're interacting, let them kind of lead a discussion in that way? Or what other suggestions might you have?
I think what you have is excellent. Another way you could do it to actually add another layer to that, give it examples. A lot of times, if you say, "Here's a book," maybe we'll use Mel Robbins. Here's with the 5 second rule. We'll go Mel Robbins, and here's the 5 second rule. Can you take a look at that? I have a book that's similar to what Mel Robbins has done. Can you look at it? Can you identify what she's done from a marketing perspective? That's an example. Then maybe you take another step over and you say something, I don't know, The Untethered Soul. So we'll look at The Untethered Soul. We can kind of I'm just trying to give you books that are similar to each other. And if you start layering examples and having a dialogue with it, now it kind of knows what you want. So I love you're going at it the right way by saying you are, and this is what I want to accomplish. These are the examples, another layer, and this is what I'm looking to get out of it. So you definitely want to make sure at the very end, say, this is what I want, how I want you to respond in this type of fashion. And as you keep priming the pump, and as you keep talking to it, it will get better and better. And yes, have it ask you questions. It will ask you questions if you have it.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you. Now, AI can also automate. So there's this AI, as we've just talked about, AI has this very, one-on-one, almost like your coach, very specific, unique to you. But then it can also automate repetitive tasks like social media, like email campaigns. Can you share a few examples of how authors can use AI to actually save time and stay consistent? Because that's a huge issue, staying consistent with their marketing.
Yeah, one of the best ways to do it is because most authors, I'm guessing, I'd follow quite a few, very active on social media. So if they are creating a social media calendar, have it create the social media calendar for you. I won't get too in depth with it, but there is a way in which you can learn to build a custom GPT, which means you can actually train a GPT to think it's your assistant, to think it only understands your book, it understands you. Once you train the GPT, and if you don't want to do that, again, it's not a really difficult task, but I won't go down that road. But one of the ways in which you can do the repetitive tasks are definitely create a social media calendar for me. Look at all the content I've written. Can you break up maybe, slugs I can put out there, on a daily basis and so forth? I can actually provide you a calendar of what it wants you to do on a monthly basis. And if you actually say, can you give me marketing tasks on a monthly basis, it'll give that to you as well. Staying consistent and wanting to do it. We're actually very close to these things being able to implement it themselves for you, like going to your social calendar, actually posting that stuff. We're like right there. There's actually something they released Friday, which is called Operator, which was done by GPT. It's the very first autonomous GPT where it takes control of a actual screen within the GPT. It's a search screen. And it goes in and it actually starts, if you want to do a reservation at a restaurant or so forth, it's actually booking those reservations for you. The next step is going to be, can you post this on Facebook, post this and so forth. So we're close to where you don't have to worry about consistency because it's going to do it for you.
That's brilliant. Looking forward to it. Talking about, personalizing and training your ChatGPT. I have friends who are fiction authors. Now I work with nonfiction, but I have some fiction author friends who use ChatGPT to store all their information about their previous books in a series. And it's like, what was this guy's eyes blue or brown? Was he tall or short? And so instead of trying to remember this, and we used to have these things called character Bibles, where you would, every time you said anything about a character, you'd have to jot it down so you could come back to it so you wouldn't make mistakes. And now ChatGPT can do this. You can train it, give it all the information. And anytime you have a question about your character, you can just ask and it will let you know, which I think is brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, you can actually train it. Like you just said, you can train it to be the best assistant you ever have, which is amazing. And if nobody has tried voice yet with it, where you can actually talk to it, do that. It's unbelievable. It actually feels like you could say, talk back what I just wrote, or talk me through that character again, or tell me what that character looks like. You're going to be amazed. This is not Siri or Alexa. This is 10,000 times better. So if you haven't done the voice as you're doing that, do it. It's a really cool tool.
Yes, actually, the other day I spoke to my Alexa, and it said something back. It said, "I can't help you with that." And I thought, "God damn, you're dumb."
Yeah, it really is, right?
I'm so used to with AI, right? It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
this is silly. All right. I want to talk about chatbots
Mhm.
because, a lot of people just don't quite understand. And I was needing some support from a company the other day, and the chatbot came on, and the chatbot was not helpful at all. So I just said, find me a human, would you? Just get me a
Mhm.
human, because you're not getting it. So there's this, I think chatbots can be amazing. They do have their limits. So I want to know what role you think they can play with authors connecting with their readers.
So AI chatbots are definitely a little different than the live chat you are used to going on if you're
Yeah.
dealing with like a Comcast or something, a Verizon, something like that. Sometimes it's a human, sometimes it's a really poor program system, but AI chatbots are a little different. And here's how they are. They actually pull all of the content that's on your website, all the content that's on your blog. You can actually go into what's called a data room. Data room's fancy term for Dropbox, Google Drive, and you can do what's called a Zapier in there. And they can pull from all of your content. And that's one way in which, so your question was, how can it communicate with like their fans and so forth? So that chatbot, you could have a chatbot that actually can talk to those individuals and bring up stories about the book, talk to them about the book, talk to them about how the author thought about it. So whatever the author would like that chatbot to address, that chatbot can do. It's vastly more powerful than a regular chat, like a regular chat that you go on a website, like a lawyer's website, and it's just trying to get your information for a lead. This is specifically crawling all the content that an author's created or a business has created, wherever that content may be, and it's interacting and it's changing that content into an actual dialogue. That's actually something we do for clients now. We actually put those chatbots on there and we train them, and then we see the interactions, and then we see what people are asking, and if the chatbot can't answer it, then we go back to the business or we create the content to put it on the website, to put it in the data room, and then it just gets smarter and smarter and smarter. We tell people all the time, AI chatbots would, although they're a little archaic right now, although awesome, that's the future of what websites are going to look like. You're going to go to a website, it's just going to be a chatbot. You're going to type in, it's going to interact with you. It can interact voice if you want it to. And it's going to pull up images, pull up videos, and so forth. So the way we look at like websites now, if an author has a website about their book or about their services, in the next, I'd say 6 to 18 months, you're going to start seeing AI chatbots actually replace a website, and that will be the future.
Brilliant. So, question about that. So if someone goes to my website and it's a chat bot, and let's say it's Mary comes and Mary's been there before and Mary's asked previous questions, how soon is this chat bot going to remember Mary?
That depends on how you have it all integrated in with like your CRM and tracking and so forth. Some of the chatbots aren't necessarily there with that right now. It's more meant like, ask me a question, and I'm going to give you all the content that you want. A lot of times on a chatbots, if they don't clear out their cookies and you go to a website, but you come back to it, your old questions are still there waiting for you. So it
Yeah.
does remember you that way.
Okay. So it's there's a possibility of this, but it's not happening quite yet.
Not quite yet from what we've seen. I'm sure there's probably a company out there right now that says, no, we've had it for 6 months. But as it stands right now, the chatbots that we're building and working on right now only remembers you if you're not clearing out your browser history. It will remember that question. But outside of that, it normally does prompt up with a brand new question each time. But again, you could train that and you can integrate certain types of CRMs like a Salesforce or whatever you're using, HubSpot, to where the chatbot will remember you.
Okay, that's amazing. So I want to come back to this idea of overwhelm, because we've talked about some really amazing things that are happening now, that are about to start happening. And of course, there are probably authors out there thinking, oh my God, I can't implement this. This must be so complicated. And my feeling is that as AI gets better, it's actually going to be easier to implement, because AI is going to help us implement. Can you just, am I wrong? Am I right?
No, you're right. AI is going to get much easier. AI is going to get easier. It's going to get cheaper. And you're going to find yourself using it every single day for all aspects of your life, much the way you use your cell phone right now. And I'm even dating myself by calling it a cell phone. You are going to be interacting with AI in that capacity. Even if it seems overwhelming now, AI's main goal is to make it as simple as possible for you. I was listening to another podcast today, this morning, and the gentleman was making a comment about by the end of the year, it's going to be the first time you're going to be able to talk to ChatGPT or type your information to ChatGPT, and it's going to build a software program for you. So imagine if you ever thought of a really good app idea or a software idea, and you're like, I'm not a software. I have no idea what to do with that. I'm not a software programmer. You're gonna be able to talk to ChatGPT, and it's actually going to do it for you, which is amazing. So if it can simplify down from building a software program to I just don't know where to start, that's about as simple as it gets. And I think the mentality of make it so simple that an 8-year-old can use it, that's where we're headed with AI, and we're there very soon.
Excellent. Thank you. So if you'd like to learn more about Len's work, you can find him at commexis.com. That's COMMEXIS.com. It's on the screen. If you're listening to the podcast, it is in the show notes. Okay, Len, what's happening in the next 5 to 10 years? I know that's like, in terms of AI, that's a century. So if you want to shorten that, that's fine. But what do you see AI how do you see AI transforming our world in the future?
I'm generally a little concerned about the human capital, the work environment, how it's going to impact jobs. That concerns me a little bit about how fast this is growing. So if I had to say what's a prediction that would concern you, it would be that. If somebody said, if your question is, give me a prediction of where you think we'll be in say 5 years or less, I think a lot of the products that you purchase, a lot of things that you're going to interact with is not going to necessarily be because you stumbled upon it. It's going to be because your AI companion, which is technically right now already on your iPhone if you have Apple phone, and actually Amazon, it's going to know you so well that it's going to interact with businesses on your behalf, and it's going to interact with those businesses' AI chatbots or their AI bots, however you GPTs, whatever we're going to call it at that point. You're going to be purchasing products based upon what your phone is telling you, what your companion's telling you, and it's going to be a very different type of shopping experience for individuals. And it's going to be like searching for the right person to replace Windows in your house, or maybe searching for the right self-help book that you might want to read or listen to, like Audible and so forth. You're not going to be spending a lot of time searching for that. This is going to bring it to you, and it's going to have it right there. And you're going to say, I really want a self-help book to maybe give me the confidence to become a public speaker for work, because I need to do that. And it's going to come back right with the information, maybe instantly, or maybe it's going to search around, and it's going to interact because it's going to know you so well. The products that are being put in front of you to purchase, you're not going to be searching for. It's going to know you almost better than you did. And I know that sounds really weird, but that's a fundamental shift in how we operate. And think about how much time you're spending in your life looking for something and searching for things. If something takes that equation away, now you got to say, what are we going to do with that kind of time on our hands? So you're going to have a lot more time on your hands in the future. I think within 2 years, there's going to be a lot more time on your hands. And I think that's something that I think AI is going to bring. And what's that time on our hands going to bring? I don't know. But that's definitely something to think about right now.
Yeah, thank you. Talking to other authors, the consensus is generally, I want AI to drive me to work, to do my laundry, to, do all these menial tasks so that I can do my creative work. Not, I want AI to do my creative work. Humans want to express themselves. And so I think, I believe that will always be something that humans want to do, is express themselves. We don't want to do laundry or cook a meal or drive ourselves to work or sit on a bus or, whatever, right? We want to do creative work. So that's where I'm hoping AI will go.
It's funny because you're saying authors, and it's funny how I think everybody had authors written off for dead with AI. And I think the thing we're realizing more and more is they're already coming out saying they're running out of content in which they can crawl and build. The human mind and the story that the human mind comes up with, will AI at some point be able to rival it? Sure. I mean, that we're also, if you were to tell us we could, be detached from the earth and fly up in the air 30,000 feet, 200 years ago, you were told you were crazy. But I'd still believe the creative mind. I still believe the humans, the way they interpret things around them. I still think that is going to be what fuels AI. And I still think there'll be that fine line. So I do agree with you that we will have more time for creativity. We will have more time to express ourselves. And I'm just kind of hoping that they keep like a wall between that with AI, because I know that right now in the world that I'm in, one of the biggest concerns is AI going to overtake the art directors, going to overtake the copywriter and so forth. And in parts it is, but you're not going to have 25 copywriters on the floor or 25 art directors. You're going to have one or two, and they're going to be piloting and driving these AI things. So I do think the opportunities are going to get a little more slim, but I think if you're really good at your creative side, and people like it, I think the opportunities are going to be endless for you, especially with the power of AI in your hands.
Yeah. Brilliant. Thank you so much. So as we wrap up, for authors getting excited about AI, they're listening to you, they're either excited about it and they want to jump in, or they're terrified and think they'd better jump in. What are the first 3 things you might suggest they do?
I think the first thing you want to do is all pieces of content that you've written ever, start organizing that and getting that into a simple Dropbox. How you structure that data and so forth, you can do the research. That's why companies hire us. We say this is how you structure it. But for now, get all the content in there, because as AI grows, they're going to want places to plug into to see your content, to know what it is. And those data rooms are exactly where they're going to plug in. Your content is gold. Get it in there and make sure you have that. I think number 2 is, if you come across an AI article, or you come across something AI in business, or just in the news or something, pay attention to it. Don't push it off. Don't say, hey, this isn't for me, or I'm not going to do this anymore. Don't be like the people who 25 years ago used to sit in boardrooms and they would say this. I would literally hear people say the internet is never going to really take off. Nobody's going to put their credit card online. That's laughable, right? And it took 25 years for the internet to fully grow to where we see it right now. AI is going to take about 18 months. So my third and final piece of advice, and sorry, for some reason, the sun is hitting my face right now from this blind. My third and final piece is, if you've never interacted with AI, go to something like Perplexity. Perplexity is a search engine that's built on top of ChatGPT or Claude, and you'll see how it gives you quick answers right away. Ask it any question you want to, and you'll see the answer. It comes back to you right away. I would prefer you go to ChatGPT, but sometimes people look at a blank white screen and don't know what they're doing. Perplexity will kind of guide you a little bit, and it's kind of like ChatGPT with training wheels on. So those are the 3 pieces of advice I would offer right now.
Brilliant. I am going to put the link to Perplexity again in the show notes as well. Thank you so much for that advice. Where can listeners connect with you and learn more about you?
They can just come to Comexis.com. You can join our mailing list. We get an AI email out probably about once a week, once every other week. We keep our blog pretty up to date. So a lot of our AI training, while we're definitely focused on the marketing side of things, we do AI consulting, but our blog, which people are still reading, is very AI 101. So if you're really trying to get understand from the ground up, we try to keep our blog very simplistic.
Brilliant. Thank you for joining us today. Really appreciated your wise words, Len.
Thank you very much.
And thank you out there for joining us today on AuthorNation. I hope this conversation has given you some valuable insights and maybe some starting steps and ideas on how you might feel comfortable using AI. I know some authors are like, go, 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 and others are like, brakes on. So I hope this has helped you on either side decide what's best for you. Remember to visit authornation.online to get your free resources. And don't forget that we always write the actionable items in our show notes. And so I know some people are like, oh, it went by so fast. They are written down in our show notes. And so go check those out to get this valuable advice that Len has just given us. And of course, share this with someone who needs it. I know you know an author needs to hear this. So share this with that person. Leave a comment, leave a review, and I'll see you next time. So keep writing, keep creating, and continue sharing your unique stories with the world.